Everybody's telling you that UGC is oversaturated, that AI is gonna take your job, that you're too late, and that you need a massive follower before these brands are gonna take you seriously. All four of those are wrong, and I can prove it because I am not like the rest of these people you see online. I actually provide real proof, and here is an example of where we made a client $164,000 in the first 30 days that the ad ran. A lot of these people that you see online, they don't actually do the thing that they're teaching. I'm not one of those people. Let me just say right there, that's exactly why I've shown you the actual screenshot in the actual ad account. I actually started the same place that you probably started as well, Fiverr, or one of these UGC platforms that keep you broke forever. And Fiverr actually kept me broke for a few years because when you go on that website, everyone is competing for the cheapest price, and that's not the way you scale. So in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly why the advice you've been given was never going to work no matter how hard you grind, and what is the actual thing that's been holding you back. Even though I told you I did do Fiverr and it did keep me broke, here is my Fiverr dashboard. So I've made over $60,000 just through Fiverr alone. So there you go, just to prove that I have actually been on Fiverr. I have actually done this thing. There's $60,000 just through Fiverr. And I'll be honest, I used to take people off Fiverr a lot. So I've actually probably made a lot more money through Fiverr because I'd get someone on Fiverr and then don't tell Fiverr, I'd get them in a call so I didn't have to give Fiverr 20%. Because yeah, it was good when I was doing like $100, $200, up to $500. But when you're getting brands that are paying you like multiple four figures, like, you know, up to $5,000, you know, you don't want to give 20% to Fiverr. And sorry to say it, but that's the way I did it. I wouldn't recommend it though, because my Fiverr profile did suffer for this reason. They knew what was going on, even though I did it in a sneaky way. They still kind of knew, but they couldn't prove it. So yeah, $60,000 just on Fiverr. Bank transfer can take up to 10 business days. And then if we look at the invoice I've sent him, let me get that up as well, because I need to prove it to you guys, because a lot of people in these comments think that I don't make money doing this thing, that I actually make money from coaching. Another one here, total 11,250. There's another bit here, the invoice. So there's some more evidence. So I should have £11,000, 250 extra in my account, which is about $15,000. But like he said, 10 business days to come up. So I could have waited to film for this video and got an extra 15,000 in there for this week. You know what I mean? But we didn't, so we're just being totally honest about it. Anyway, let me start with 4 things every single UGC guru has probably already told you, or even any other gurus told you. So let's see if this sounds familiar. So you get told that you got to build a portfolio first. And yeah, this sounds smart, you look professional, you know, you get picked. Brands want to see work before they pay, obviously. You need some sort of portfolio. So you're doing 3 weeks making free videos for brands that never ask for them, and the portfolio link gets clicked by absolutely nobody. And I've done this myself. I've made a bunch of free videos. I've sent off videos and felt like, you know, I've spent money getting videos filmed, especially with the street interview format, and those brands never even saw it. So I feel like I'm wasting my money, I'm wasting my time, and it's okay once it sort of comes in, but when it doesn't come in, it's very frustrating. Send in 100 cold DMs or emails a day. And yeah, it sounds smart, it's a numbers game, the law of averages, what people might tell you in door-to-door sales. More DMs means more chances, right? And you might be messaging them saying, hi, absolutely love your brand. Your product is so cool, I use it myself all the time. I would love the chance to get work with you. I'd love to collaborate. I'd love the chance to work with you. And that gets ghosted harder than a Hinge date that's found your LinkedIn profile. When I was sending hundreds of DMs, hundreds of emails, they always get ghosted, and it just makes you feel like you're wasting your time. But the problem was never actually the volume. The problem was what was actually in that message, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. Then you got growing a following so brands notice you. And yeah, sounds smart, audience equals leverage. You know, brands start coming to you. We love that. Brands coming to you, yeah, we like it, it's nice. When things fall into your lap, that's why Fiverr works. That's why I really liked Fiverr, because I didn't have to do anything. I set up my profile and people came to me. Everyone loves that. It means less work. And then you're posting 3 things to do bell hooks to 400 followers that none of these followers actually own a brand. None of these followers are gonna actually pay you any money. And me, myself, I got my first brand deals when I barely had any followers, and the followers actually came after the money. The money came first, and that's the beauty of UGC, because UGC, people don't really care about followers. They care about results. They care about conversion. And then you're sitting on Fiverr, sitting on all these UGC platforms and marketplaces, and you're just waiting. That's where the buyers are. You think you put it on there and they'll just show up, right? Yeah, they do. Of course. They do that. They did that. On Fiverr, when I was the only street interview ad person doing it, that was happening for me, and it was amazing. I know this better than anyone. This is where I started. This is where I came from. sitting on Fiverr, letting all the work come to me. Orders coming in, orders keep flying in, like you're busy every single day, but at the end of the month, you're still broke. Marketplaces. I had so many different clients and I could not tell you half of them. The amount of brands that I've worked with, especially through Fiverr, I couldn't even tell you what they're called. Like the amount of brands that I work with through Fiverr, half of them, I couldn't even tell you 10% of the people I work from through Fiverr, because it's cheap work and it's quick work and it's people that aren't gonna come back. And you'll have these buyers that are haggling over $50 and you know, I know, we all know these aren't the clients that you want, because you pay for what you get in the world. And when people trying to pay you a certain amount of money, a lower type of money, they're gonna see you as easy work, and then you're gonna feel like you're easy work as well. And then these Fiverr clients, they're revision requests, trying to get like hundreds of videos for $5 each because it's a big package. And those are the 4 bits of advice that are all logical, but they're all broken. And here's the thing, actually, they're not broken because you did them wrong. So let me take these apart one at a time, because once you see the mechanism, you cannot unsee it. So the surface problem everyone talks about, you're a row in a spreadsheet, sorted by price, undercut by someone $5 cheaper. So then you undercut back and it's a bidding war between someone you don't even know about. And I tell you what the prize is, the worst pay. And the deeper problem, this is the one that I actually live myself, which I was actually going through. Even when it works, it still keeps you small. I had orders coming in all the time, busy every single day, but I was still broke, because 100 cheap strangers is never gonna add up to a business, let's be honest. Let's just break this down with the maths. So you've got a pile of low paying, one-off clients that you don't know the name of, or you've got 3 or 4 high paying clients whose results you improve with after every single month, because you're building a relationship with these. You're getting better because you're doing the same thing over and over again. One of these you can actually scale, and the other one just scales your exhaustion. These marketplaces, they're just built for transactions, not built for relationships. And relationships is everything in business, as you may know, in every type of business, not just UGC business. No relationship means that they're not gonna share the ad accounts with you, they're not gonna give you case studies, they're not gonna give you testimonials. It just means that you've got someone that treats you like someone that they don't know. There's no relationship there, you're just a person they only speak to on Fiverr. If you've got them like personally on Instagram, on WhatsApp, they see your journey, they're gonna feel like they actually know you better, they're gonna have a proper relationship. When you've got a proper relationship, that's when 2 people can scale together, and it just works. It just works. You know what I mean? And you're never gonna get a retainer on Fiverr, let's be honest, because on Fiverr, everyone's trying to test every single different creator, and there's no loyalty whatsoever in Fiverr. I wasn't actually ever building a business on Fiverr, even though I thought I was. I was just having the same first day every day. I wasn't actually building a business on Fiverr, even though I thought I was. I was just having the same first day over and over again with every other client under the sun. Bottom line is, no one hires a professional from Fiverr, they hire a bargain. And I know this because I was the bargain. Next one, academies and courses with no agency behind them. The question you've got to ask to any educator is, show me the client work you did this month, and they will freeze. We don't want to see 2021 screenshots. We don't want to see something, because the meta is changing all the time. So you don't want to see something that was done years and years and years ago, because hooks change all the time. Formats always changes. Everything in the ad space, in meta, in all these things are always changing. So if you're getting old results, then it doesn't really exist. It doesn't even matter like anymore, you know what I mean? So these people doing the academies with the courses, they're teaching you from a textbook. They're teaching you probably from ChatGPT or Claude. They're not teaching you from actual experience like I've had. The market moved in the last 90 days, and if they're not in it, their advice is redundant. But yeah, look, my week, I've had briefing clients, working on shoots, you know, getting in closing calls all the time, every single day. You know, I'm actually doing this, and these people are just talking about the theory. Like I mentioned earlier, all these gurus, all these online people, they teach the thing that they're not even doing. I'm the absolute opposite of that, because I've only just started this thing. I've probably put more money into it than I've earned, because I really do want to actually start teaching people, because I used to be a teacher. Before I ever did street interview stuff, I was still working a normal job, just like you might be hobby now, and I was doing this on the side, and my actual job was a cover teacher or a substitute teacher. So I basically got abused and swore at and had paper airplanes threw at me by 14-year-old kids, 15-year-old kids, 16-year-old kids, 12, 11, 13, all ages basically. So I was a substitute teacher, and I used to enjoy it. Like when the days were good, I used to really get a lot out of teaching, and you know, making these street interview stuff, it's cool, but I like to travel, and then while I'm traveling, I'm a bit hands-off with it. So I don't even really do much anymore. I pretty much outsource it all with my creators in the UK and the USA. That's why I started this as well, because I need more creators, and I think what better way to actually teach creators, work on a proper coaching sort of basis, and as well give them jobs. So the two things feed each other. You guys need jobs, I need workers. Two things work perfectly. And yeah, I actually invented this format because people might be able to teach UGC, but if you're specifically looking to do street interview UGC, I created the format. I don't know how many times I keep having to say this. I feel like I'm lying when I say it, just because people think, oh no, surely not. I've seen that for years. It's like, yeah, well, I started on Fiverr. I was the first person on Fiverr doing it, and then I went off Fiverr. So we aren't the most reviewed anymore, I don't think, but I was for a long time. And then you've got these gurus that have got no receipts. Anyone now can, with AI, can screenshot a bank account. They can make fake bank account. Why does no one actually show the process? Why does no one show the calls of the clients? No one shows anything. I show everything. Go on my Instagram now. I've got everything there. I've got me in calls with clients, you know, actual ad account data like I shown at the start, the 164K case study. I've got my actual website here, streetscale.com, where you can check out everything, where I've got testimonials from actual clients that have worked with me for years. And I've got clients that have actually ran my ads for over a year. So if you look at the brand Roamless, go to their Meta Ads account right now and try and find my video. It's been running for years. It's still running now. I mean, there's no one that posts the amount of proof that I post, because I've asked Claude myself. I asked Claude, I says, look, who are my competitors? What proof have they got? And they told me that I've got the best proof, the most proof. All these other people, they've got good claims, but they haven't got actual screenshots. I'm the only person that does the Meta ad account proof. You know what I mean? Like, none of these other people use real screenshots. Every one of those paths I've just shown you right there has the same flaw at the bottom. They've all got you selling videos as a commodity, not an outcome. And a commodity always gets priced down by the cheapest seller. We know this. Which is why working harder inside that model never actually fixed it. You cannot outgrind a broken model. So when I finally understood that, I changed how I saw the whole industry. Because the problem was never actually me. And let me tell you how I found that out. So let me tell you a little story. I used to be a beatboxer. I was performing in Butlins, if you know where that is, holiday parks, and then schools. So I was teaching in schools before I started doing substitute teacher. I was teaching in schools. I got a few good jobs from it as well. I was also on cruise ships and performing all around the place. But as beatboxing is quite a niche thing, I never really got work all the time. Even though the pay was quite good, I would have liked to have been working and performing a lot more than I actually was. So no, I'm not from a marketing background. I didn't even do business at uni. I did music production. Did music production at college. I did media studies at sixth form and got kicked out. I actually got kicked out of my music class because they didn't want me to be a beatboxer. They wanted me to be a sound engineer, so I didn't turn up to rehearsals. Anyway, that's a story for another day. I'm performing, I'm loving it. I was beatboxing from the age of 12, so this was always my dream as a beatboxer. And then COVID hits. And overnight, the one industry that suffered the most was probably performance. You know, all events stopped. Entertainment was done. And then I pretty much tried every single online business. I was also doing Zoom call teaching, so I was teaching kids over Zoom calls how to beatbox. And then I tried like e-commerce, drop shipping, all these like online business ways, even trading, and I got scammed. So yeah, I tried pretty much everything. I also put on the beatboxing job on Fiverr. So Fiverr, I was on there for ages, and I never really used to get too many jobs through Fiverr until a few years later when I stumbled on the street interview ad format and put it on Fiverr. And then when I put it on Fiverr, because I was the only person doing it, literally overnight it started blowing up. So yeah, when I tell you that the old way is broken, that is not me just saying stuff, that is me giving actual proof. When I was doing the beatboxing work and I used to outreach like on emails, I used to send maybe 100 emails a day, and then maybe I'll get 2 replies, and out of those 2 replies, none of them wanted to work with me. So it was an absolute slog, if that's the right word. So all through this mess, my friend actually had a YouTube channel, and that YouTube channel was a battle rap channel, and he wanted me to do interviews at festivals for him. So I did that. I went to the festivals, I did some interviews, and then me and him, basically, I had a boxing fight as well. That's another thing that I did. I tried everything in life. You know, nothing ever clicked until my late 20s, but I tried everything in life. I had a boxing fight, and he didn't turn up to my boxing fight because he was being cheap, because he wanted to pay £5 when the ticket was actually £30. And yeah, I fell out of him quite a lot. And then when I fell out with him, I still wanted to do the street interview stuff. So even though I was still doing the beatboxing on my page, I also wanted to do a bit of street interview stuff. So I started doing street interviews just to people. And then I was also doing beatboxing adverts. I had an advert for an ice bath, an ice plunge. Not today. Where I had to get in an ice plunge and I had to beatbox in an ice plunge, and it did pretty well. But I also had a very big interest to like fragrances, like, you know, perfume. And I knew that I wouldn't be able to do a beatboxing thing with perfume, a beatboxing advert with perfume. So I thought, oh, well, I'll do that other thing, that street interview thing. How about if we did a street interview advert? And then it clicked. I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I need to do. Started messaging everyone, put it on Fiverr, and that's how it all happened. I wasn't suddenly more talented. I just found a different vehicle for expressing myself. Before it was beatboxing and performing, and now it was street interviews. But I had to sort of learn the business on the way. That's why sort of at the start on Fiverr, it was kind of slow. I was outpricing myself. I was charging like a couple $100, like really, really cheap for some people. I think my first ever job was 3 videos for £150, which is about $200. So that's where I started. It was never a talent problem or a saturation problem or an AI problem. Every path that I've been sold was a car, but with no engine. And I was basically blaming myself for not pushing it fast enough. So if you've been doing this, you've been grinding your portfolios, doing these DMs, posting schedules, and it's going nowhere, hear this properly right now. It is not your fault. You were just working hard inside a model that was mathematically never gonna pay you well. So let me tell you another story. You might have heard about my story in Thailand where I went broke, but after that story in Thailand, I then started doing well again. And then I realized that I was going up and down. And then when I was going up and down, I thought to myself, I need to go somewhere where I can focus a little bit better. And Thailand was not that place because there's a few distractions there. So I decided I'm gonna go to Bali. And when I went to Bali, my lens broke. So at this time, I can't film any videos for these clients I've got because obviously I need a camera and my lens just broke. So I went to a camera shop. Long story short, in that camera shop, a guy came up to me, says, what do you do? And he says, I help people scale their business, blah, blah, blah. And at the time I needed this. So even though I thought this guy was a scammer, I was like, this is actually the reason I came to Bali, to, you know, get help from someone like this. So I thought, fuck it, let's do it. Tried it. First 2 months, I thought I was getting scammed. Third month, my income tripled, and then it's been smooth sailing ever since then because he helped me build the systems and he helped me do the right things and treat myself like a business. Because at the point before I met him, I was doing things like a freelancer. Even though I had a 10K month before this, I had a 10K month, then it went back to 5K, then it went to 3K, then like it was up and down all the time. But yeah, the people who win at this, they treat it like a business, like Roland in the camera shop taught me how to do, because you know, they need to invest if they're gonna learn it properly. So there is a different way to do this, and this way doesn't rely on any of the things that I've just torn apart in this video. A different way of getting conversations and a different way of charging. But yeah, none of this all matters if you're still pricing videos instead of outcomes. I'll be completely honest with you. That's the actual difference between 150 jobs and 5K retainers. And I break the whole thing down in this video right here, so go and check that out.